Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, what's up with it, fam? It's Hot Boxing Minute, your favorite pharmaceutical engineer, turned boxing analyst, back at you with that uncut realness as only I can serve it to you. My last video was in regards to the fight between Josh Taylor and Teofimo. Now we got to cover Jaime Munguia fighting Sergiy Derevyanchenko, and I'm even going to cover Sonny Edwards in his fight with Andres Campos out there across the pond. Lots of fun fights going on this week, folks. And all those cards have fun undermatches or have fun cards on those cards. How do you say it? Undercards on those main cards. But I'm only going to talk about the main fights. I'm not going to spend all that time dealing with the undercard fights. The issue of this video here is Jaime Munguia versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko. Jaime Munguia is one of those fighters who has a following. And contrary to people's popular opinion or views, just because you're a Mexican fighter, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a fan base following you. It's not really how it works. You have to have a fan-friendly style. You got to have a good story behind you. And then they'll pick you. Like, for instance, Ray Vargas isn't exactly the most popular of fighters, despite the fact he's a champion and he's Mexican. They don't have a built-in fan base like some would like to suggest that they do. It took time for Venado Lopez to build a following. It took Bronco Lara becoming a champion or surprise, shocking upset over Josh Warrington before he got a following. Jaime Munguia is not affected by that same thing. Jaime Munguia has had a huge, devoted following for quite a few years now. I'd say roughly it started just about the time he won his first belt against Saddam Ali. What year was that? I think I wrote it down here somewhere. 2018. So Jaime Munguia undefeated. He's 41-0 with 33 knockouts. He's only 26 years old. He's gotten a lot of flack lately because people have not been happy with his opponent selection. Guys like Demetrius Ballard, guys like Jimmy Kelly, guys like, gosh, who's the guy with the cool little mustache? Gary Spike O'Sullivan. So people have had their criticisms about Jaime Munguia, and I'm not going to totally disagree with people having their gripes about Jaime Munguia not fighting the best of the best. He's got 41 fights in his pro career. He's at a good age, 25, 26. He should be fighting tougher competition, but I'm not exactly upset. I'm not really ever upset. If you guys haven't noticed that, I don't really nitpick about stuff. Me, if the fight is entertaining enough to watch, I'll watch it. As long as it isn't pay-per-view and they're not asking me to pay exorbitant ticket prices, I'll go. I'm not one who just complains about stuff. I liked Jaime Munguia for quite a while. If I didn't like Jaime Munguia, I wouldn't be wearing his shirt. So let's let it go at that one. Jaime Munguia kind of got his name really in the American mainstream audience's, psyche in 2018 when he fought Saddam Ali. He became the WBO light middleweight champion of the world. He defended that belt, I think, like 5 times. And he beat guys like Liam Beefy Smith, Dennis Hogan, and Takeshi Inoue, which is not a bad run to fight at 154 pounds. And then he moved up, vacated his belt, and he's fought, I think, about 7 guys since then, and has knocked out at least 6 of them. And, the resume hasn't been too impressive. Guys like Gary Kelly, guys like Gary Spike O'Sullivan. He went the whole distance with the Road Warrior Gabe Rosado in a very entertaining fight that was a candidate for Fight of the Year when that fight happened, the classic Puerto Rico versus Mexico boxing match. Well, this weekend he's fighting Sergiy Derevyanchenko. And Sergiy Derevyanchenko is a very, very solid middleweight. He's like ranked number 6 in the ring rankings, number 4 in the WBC rankings, and he's fought the best of the division, and those are the only people he's lost to, and he's only lost by decision. Nobody's just clean beat him up and knocked him out. Carlos Adames. Some say he should have won that fight against Triple G. Danny Jacobs. Names like that prove that Sergiy Derevyanchenko is a formidable person, even at this stage in his career, 37 years old. And I think it's an entertaining fight. In Sergiy Derevyanchenko's last fight, he won his last fight against a relatively unknown dude. Before that, he fought Carlos Adames. And Sergiy Derevyanchenko looked less than impressive against Carlos Adames. Carlos Adames looked amazing in that fight. Holy crap. Carlos Adames is one to watch. That's one tough Dominican dude. But Sergiy Derevyanchenko is a dog nonetheless. One of the main things about Sergiy Derevyanchenko that always sticks out to me was that fight against Triple G. It was a pretty fun fight to watch from beginning to end. He stood there toe-to-toe and banged it out with Triple G. And even though Triple G won that decision, many would argue, including myself, that it could have gone easily in Sergiy Derevyanchenko's favor. Imagine how things would have changed had he had got that win against Triple G. We don't know. Now, that's not to say that, he could be a credible threat to Jaime Munguia, because I think he is. I wanted to see Triple G fight Jaime Munguia. They were trying to get Jaime Munguia to fight Triple G a few years back, but apparently the commissions thought he was too green to go for that fight. This is going to be an interesting fight because both of these guys are slow starters. They're both fight of the orthodox position. I would say that Sergiy Derevyanchenko is a little more disciplined in warming up. He likes to fight behind his jab, build everything off the jab. Jaime Munguia does not so much like to fight off the jab, even though he has a jab. He doesn't use it unless he absolutely needs to. He prefers to throw those winging, loopy shots and just try to knock you the hell out. That's the fun part about watching Jaime Munguia. I saw glimpses of good head movement, because he started training under Eric Morales out there at Zona Norte Gym. He showed that head movement in the Gabe Rosado fight in the first few rounds and then just slowly threw away all that defensive work, I guess, and slugged it out with Gabe Rosado. And that gave us fight fans a very entertaining fight. So I don't knock him for that. Gabe Rosado, I think that might have been the last really good competitive fight of Gabe Rosado's career. After that, he had that knockout over Bektemir Melikhusev. And Gabe Rosado just recently lost a decision to Bektemir Melikhusev. And hopefully Gabe Rosado calls it a career. But that fight he had with Jaime Munguia, that was classy stuff. So stylistically, Jaime Munguia and Sergiy Derevyanchenko, they're not big movies. They're going to stand in front of each other. They're slow starters, so expect them to take some time trying to figure out each other's rhythm. I don't expect this is going to be the fight where they both suddenly decide they want to start off fast and rapidly. Sergiy Derevyanchenko, I think, has the edge in hand speed, but we all know Jaime Munguia has that thump. He has that thud. So when they do get in the mixes, you're going to see Sergiy Derevyanchenko get hit clean. You'll see, obviously, Jaime Munguia get hit clean. And regardless of people's criticisms of where they think Sergiy Derevyanchenko is in his career, he is still one of the most solid dudes in the division. Like I said earlier, he's ranked number 6 in the Ring Magazine rankings, ranked number 4 in the WBC. So the experts in the sanctioning bodies and a lot of writers still consider him very formidable. This will, regardless, be a very entertaining fight. And the burden is definitely on Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia has to look absolutely impressive in this fight, if not get a stoppage, because he obviously wants to get that big money fight against names like Jermall Charlo or possibly Arislandi Lara, who is another one of the champions of the division, or Janibek Alemkhanuly. The big money fight is Jermall Charlo and Jaime Munguia. I'm crossing my fingers. I want that one next. But, so, you guys are going to tune in and see it. The ticket sales have been good, so it should be a packed fight. I'm going to be pulling up to that fight. Do I have it? For those of y'all that never seen it, this was my first ever media credential to Munguia versus Rosado. So I'm excited to get a media credential for this event again. Hopefully I'll have some good interviews and stuff I can post to give you guys. When I'm at events, I do post the interviews, but most of them are on my TikTok channel. So you're going to have to go back to my TikTok channel to see when I spoke to guys like Jojo Diaz, or recently I just got a chance to talk to Arnold Barbosa. And yeah, that's about where that is. That fight itself is actually a pretty fun card. It's going to have a lot of fun undercards on it. You're going to see Shane Mosley Jr. facing Demetrius Ballard. Demetrius Ballard is a former opponent of Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia gave Demetrius Ballard his first loss by knockout out there in Tijuana. Shane Mosley Jr. was the guy that got the win over Gabe Rosado. So, you know, the relative tree of how all these guys are opponents in the same division kind of all pans out nicely. That fight should be interesting. Mariano Juarez is fighting Mayeli Flores. Ricardo Sandoval against Rocco Santomaro. Jorge Chavez versus Christian Lorenzo. And Anthony Saldivar versus Jerome Clayton. So, should be some entertaining cards. That's coming up this Saturday evening out there in Los Angeles or Ontario at the Toyota Center. I'm excited to be showing up to that. Now, let me look this up real quick because I didn't actually write down the whole card. Sonny Edwards, right? Let me see. Sonny Edwards. The whole card. And let me see. Full fight card. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm on the Bloody Elbow website. Okay. So, here's what we got going on. We have the return of Sonny Edwards. The reigning IBF Flyweight champion, that's 112 pounds, will be making the fourth defense of his strap against Andres Campos from Chile. And Andres Campos himself is from Chile. He's 15-0 with 4 knockouts. Sonny Edwards is 19-0 with 4 knockouts. You know, it's an interesting match. Let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you something. Before I begin, let me say this. I will not tolerate any slander on the name of my boy Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards, the IBF Flyweight champion from the UK, is easily one of my favorite fighters and hands down my favorite fighter from the UK. Is he a former undisputed champion like Josh Taylor? No, he doesn't have those kind of accolades. Is he Tyson Fury, 7 foot tall, ball-headed heavyweight? No. Sonny Edwards is a little fella, 112 pounds. And in my opinion, he's one of the most entertaining fighters to watch. The dude is hell on wheels inside the ring. He is funny as all hell outside of the ring. But inside the ring, he really reminds me of Nicolino Loche and Willie Pep. The man's footwork is super fun to watch. If you're a fan of the sweet science of boxing, he's one of the guys you're going to want to watch. He's fighting Andres Campos from Chile in a fourth defense of his IBF strap. Andres Campos has never fought outside of Chile, so I don't assume this is going to be a very tough fight for Sonny Edwards, but it is the theater of the unexpected. Anything can happen, but I'm going to watch this fight, and I suggest if you're a fan of boxing and you like entertaining fighters, you're going to want to watch Sonny Edwards this weekend. I promise you, this dude is fun to watch. His division, the other champions include Julio Cesar Martinez, who has the WBC strap. I believe Sonny Edwards beats El Rey Martinez. I don't care what nobody says. Artem Dalakian with the WBA strap. Sonny Edwards beats him. The only one I can see giving him problems and possibly beating him would be my man Bam Rodriguez from San Antonio, Texas with the WBO. We need to see them in the ring. Let's watch Sonny Edwards get past Andres Campos first this weekend. And that fight card itself is entertaining enough. They've got Johnny Fisher fighting Emilio Salas. You gotta love the Romford Bull, Johnny Fisher. I love his story. Chernika Johnson is fighting Ellie Scotney for Johnson's IBF Women's Super Bantamweight title. I like Chernika Johnson, Sugar Neeks, but Ellie Scotney is, I think, a different class in her own self. Siobhan Clark against David Jamieson. Nina Hughes against Katie Haley. I like Nina Hughes, and her story is so fascinating. That's a fight you're going to want to watch. Yusuf Kamari against Reese Bellotti. George Ladard against Nicholas Zernak. Shannon Ryan versus Martin Bernil. And Muhammad Ali, what an awesome name, against Brian Castro, Super Bantamweight. Sonny Edwards, that fight you want to watch. Johnny Fisher, that fight, obviously, it's always interesting when Johnny Fisher boxes. I really want to see him fight the big heavyweight from the United States. Has been calling him out. I forgot his name. He's from L.A. But Chernika Johnson and Nina Hughes, the two women fight cards. You're going to want to watch those. But anyways, folks, that's enough for me on this take. Let me know what you think about Sonny Edwards versus your boy Andres Campos. How do you feel about Jaime Munguia versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko? Leave me a comment. Hit that like button. Hit follow if you haven't already done so. This is Hot Boxing Minute, folks. The future of boxing analysis on TikTok and YouTube. Peace.